Okay, so we're back on LeetCode. People seem to like my LeetCode content, and I'm gonna do more LeetCode. Oh shit! Let me log into my account here. Here we go. Already logged in. Keep doing all the easy problems until we run out of easy problems, and then we'll do medium and then hard. I had some comments on my latest video about how I should be doing the explanation of the algorithms. On my latest one, I kind of just showed the answer straight away and explained the answer, whereas it seems to perform better and people like it more and understand it more when I actually edit it with how I came up with the answer. So I'm going to try do more visual explanations this time and use like Microsoft Paint and actually show how I arrived at the answer and my thinking more clearly. Hopefully that'll make some better content. All right, so next up we have valid parentheses. Valid parentheses. How you'd pronounce that? Parenthesis, parentheses, same thing. I think either or is correct. Let's see what it says. Make this bigger for everyone on TikTok. Okay. Given a string S containing just the characters parentheses normal, squiggly parentheses, and square parentheses, determine if the input string is valid. It's valid if the open brackets are closed with the same type of brackets, any open bracket must be closed in the correct order, and every closed bracket has a corresponding open bracket of the same type. Makes sense. In programming, this is kind of like how a linter works. Make sure that your code is syntactically correct. So pretty cool example to start off with. Yeah, I'm just going to turn down my mic here. I see it's going a bit red. So give me 2 seconds while I do that. Just like 5 decibels. Hello, test, test. That's a bit better. Maybe a bit louder on YouTube. Okay, that's good. All right, so how would we do this? Straight away, I think we can use, I want to try bring paint up. I don't know how well this would work. Straight away, I think a good way to do it is by storing and keeping, well, we need to keep track of which parentheses have been opened and which parentheses have been closed and make sure they all add up. And I think a dictionary is a great way to do that. We'll have the keys for each of the 3 types of 3 types of parentheses. So let's just define that here. Const, what should we call it? Something that keeps tally. Const tally equals squarely bracket open, and then the first key will be open squarely. Actually, we'll do it in the same order that they've provided it. Open normal bracket, initialize it to 0. I'm just going to copy this a few times, and and then we'll just fill this out. So close bracket, we'll just fill it out for every type of bracket that we can encounter. There we go, and they're all initialized to 0. Hey Victor, thanks for joining the live. Feel free to ask any questions. I appreciate you sharing and following and engaging with the stream. All right, so we've got the dictionary of all the types of all the characters that we can see, and now we want to go through each character in the input string and update the tallies that we see. So should be pretty simple. For const yo Yoshi boy coming from Twitch, thank you for the comment. I'm doing well, thank you. I had to go through, actually let me give you guys a quick story. Before I set up this stream, I spent about half an hour trying to figure out how to boost my volume on TikTok, and I ended up using this software, well, a combination of software, but the first one, the one that does the boosting, is called Voicemeeter by Banana. And actually, I haven't even boosted it here, but I think the issue, like I had a bunch of issues, like my audio interface had only output, like only took my mic as a mono input. So I had to like solo it. See, this is what it was before. Oh, sorry. I had to mono it or change it into mono so it comes out on both channels. Previously, it was only coming out on the left channel, as you can see here. But yep, put it on both channels. I messed around with the gain before, but I managed to equalize it properly now. But then I noticed that there was a lot of static noise in the background still, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna need more software to get rid of the static noise. Oh, okay, I accidentally closed that software, so that made my audio completely stop on TikTok, but it's back now, all good. I was saying it had a lot of static noise, and I used this software, NVIDIA Broadcast, which is very cool. I think it uses AI to do noise removal, and it can do a bunch of other stuff, but I'm just using it for noise removal at the moment, and it's working really well. It eliminated all the static, so yeah, that's my little rant. Thank you for the comments, Yoshi boy. Yeah, instant regret. That's right. Feel free to ask any questions. I appreciate it if you follow me. Oh, you have followed me on Twitch. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Anyway, let me continue with this algorithm. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer best I can. Okay, so now I'm going through each character in the input string and adding it to the tally. So char of, let me remove the question here so we have more room. Char of S tally char. So this will access the value for the given key, which is the character. And then we just want to add it to the number which it currently is. Yoshi Boy is trying to figure out what to do for this C# program they're making. Cool. What are you planning to do with the program, Yoshi? Okay, so add it to the tally, and that's actually should be it. So after this, we should have an updated dictionary of called tally, which has the correct amount of tally, I guess, the correct tally for each character, how many times it's occurred in the string. Now here's the interesting part. How do we determine if it's valid or not? I think the way we do this is we're going to go through each key in this tally dictionary and make sure the opening amount is the same as the closing amount. So about to do that. Yoshi says they're making a music bot for Discord. That's super cool. I haven't actually done any Discord bot programming, but it seems like a very cool field of programming on like software development that didn't really even exist like, I don't know, 10 years ago. So that's super cool. What does the bot do? Does it just play music? You got a script running from Lavalink. I haven't heard of the Lavalink before. Let me Google that quickly. Lavalink. What is Lavalink? Ooh, you can send audio with it. That's super cool. So I'm assuming your bot plays music. What's the source? Like I used to have a Discord bot that played music from YouTube and SoundCloud and stuff, but it eventually got banned or something happened. I don't know. Some terms of service changed. Can't remember. Okay, so let's check if this is valid. Let me add some comments here. So this for loop builds to build, it sees, it adds two tallies for each scene character, kind of. And now we want to check for validation. Oh, also I didn't really like how this how this theme rendered. So I'm going to go back to this. This is like the Sublime Text theme called Monokai. I really like this one. I should have used this from the start. Okay, check for validation. So so this is how you loop through an object in JavaScript. You go object.keys, I think, tally, and that will give you back object.keys tally will give you back an array of all the keys in the specified object. So for this, at least I think if I wrote it right, that's how it should work. So for tally, it should give us something like this. Like that, like with every character as an element in the, for every key as an element in the array, etc. If that makes sense. Yep. So for each character, Yoshi says, I feel like I've pulled a smart move using Python for that instead of the whole thing in batch. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what is batch? Is that bash? Is bash the same as batch? No, it's different. Batch is I haven't even heard of batch, to be honest. I've heard of bash. Is that the same? Looks the same. Bash versus batch. Let's see what the difference is. Batch is for Unix, batch or batch jobs. Oh, they're just scripts that can be executed periodically. So it's not really a language, it's more a type of script. Is that right? Yoshi, maybe you can enlighten us. But it kind of, yeah, okay. Yep, so for oh, this is weird. So I need to know if the value for the open bracket is equal to the value of the closed bracket. Okay, instead of writing the for loop like this, I'm going to write it like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to initialize that array, call it key array, and then I'm going to write the for loop like for let I of 0, I is less than key array dot length. And we're going to do +2 each time because we want to look at the pairs, and we can just I plus equals 2. We can just, yeah, go through the pairs each time. So like looping 2 at a time instead of each one. Yeah, she says batch files on Windows are just like the normal comparable. Okay. Yeah, I have. So it's just the .bat file. I have seen those on Windows. I remember in school people used to try to write like viruses on the school computers using those .bat files because you could just write them in. I mean, I guess you could write pretty much anything in Notepad and just run it. Yep. Thanks for that insight, Yoshi. Okay, so for each pair, if the key array at I does not equal the key array at I plus 1, then we can return false, because we know that would make it invalid if the open bracket amount is not the same as the closed bracket amount. Maybe I should write that in the comment here. Otherwise, if it gets through everything and doesn't return false, we can return true and know that it's a valid bracket combination. I hope that works. Let's give it a run. See what it says. Yep, we have a little error here. I have an extra close bracket. See? They're using the same thing that we're programming to determine the validity of my syntax. Okay. Open, close, false, expected, true. Sweet. So I've done something wrong here. Let's just do some logs to check what I've done wrong instead of trying to just figure it out with my brain. Because I'm lazy and this isn't an interview. So I'm going to log the key array. And then I'm going to log these. Oh, comma. Let's see what it says. Okay, key array worked well. Oh. This shouldn't be key array. This should be what did I call it? Tally. Yeah, tally. So if the value at the tally. Oh no, here, sorry. It should be tally and the key is the value of the key array. That makes sense. So let me try to explain this better. So we're checking if the open bracket tally, and we get the open bracket key by looping through the key array. And the close bracket is similar, it's just the one next to the open bracket, so it's just I plus 1. And if they're not equal, we return false. I'm pretty confident that should work now. Let's run it. Awesome. Now let's see how optimized this was. Oh, no, it was wrong for this case. I outputted true. Oh, because I'm not checking. Wait, is that not valid? Oh, I've understood the problem wrong. Open brackets must be closed in the correct order. I missed this one. I think that's the issue we've run into here. Whoops, what did I press? Submissions. Here we've opened. Wow, this would have been a lot easier if I read the question probably. We've opened a different type of bracket. Nice, Yoshi did his whole. Is that the whole bot in 61 lines of Python code? That's really impressive. Okay, so we're gonna rewrite this whole function because I misread the question. I thought we just had to make sure that the amount of open brackets was similar to the same as the amount of closed brackets, but that's not the case. Can I not command comment this? Damn it. All right. Just gonna have to block a comment. All right. Well, okay, so now we're trying to make sure that every time we open a bracket, we close it with the same type of bracket. Is that the only, okay, let's double check that the only characters that are in this string, yeah, are that. Okay, that makes it a lot easier. Hey, Fengwei Ding, thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Fengwei is my good friend from university. We studied engineering, some engineering courses together. All right, so this is gonna be super simple. Instead of a tally dictionary, we're gonna have a corresponding dictionary. Yeah, corresponding or closing or related bracket dictionary, which pretty much it's gonna, for every open bracket, we're gonna have every open bracket is a key, every type of open bracket, and every closed bracket is the value for that key. So just like this, squiggly bracket open is the key, squiggly bracket close is the value. Square bracket open is the key, square bracket close is the value. I just noticed that people that join late might not know what I'm working on. So I'm gonna copy paste this into the comments above here. See if that works. Oh, I didn't copy it properly. There we go. Oh, thank you for the likes, user Cox. user Cox? User Cox. User C0 Ox Spookets 89. Thanks, Fengwei. Enjoy your night. All right, related bracket array, dictionary, and now we're going to go through each character in the string. And how are we going to do this? I feel like with these rules, it has to be like, all right, let's run through some examples. Like it has to close immediately, right? Like that's valid because they close immediately, but like if I do this, is that valid? Wait, sorry. Is this valid? Kind of looks like a thing. Is that valid? Let's see. Let's read the rules. Open brackets must be closed by the same type of bracket. Yep. Open brackets must be closed in the correct order. So first we close. Do they define correct order here? Really define correct order. Is the order if you open it first, you close it last? To me, that makes sense. So this should be valid in my opinion. If you open it first, you close it last. What about this? Is this valid? I think that should be valid too. What did I fail on? Let's double check here. Yeah. Yeah, I guess in programming that isn't valid either. Okay. Okay. So maybe the way that I'm thinking about it. Okay. We can have another dictionary that keeps in memory whether we've opened a particular bracket or not. I think that would be useful. So new dictionary, is bracket open. We'll initialize it to false. False. Okay. So now we go through each character. Let's go through this one. We check is bracket open for that. If it isn't, yeah, that's a good idea. If is bracket open for the character. What if it's a closed bracket? Then it would return it would return an error because the key doesn't exist. Right? Return false. Yeah. If is bracket open. Okay, what's my strategy here? Let's have a think. Let's have think we're gonna go through each character, and if it's a open character, we toggle the is bracket open to true. If it's false, we'll toggle it to true. Object has key. I think we also need to check if the key even exists. Should we, instead of doing object has key, which actually, yeah, let's just do that. I forgot how to do that. JS object has a key. How do you do that? Has own property. Oh, if key in object. Okay, sweet. So if car in is bracket open. So if it's one of the open brackets, and if is bracket open character is false, we'll do that. Then we can do is bracket open char. It's true. Set it to true. Okay. Oh, I have a message from Ev with KT. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Feel free to ask any questions or any suggestions for what you want to see, and I'll try to answer that with the best I can. Yeah, right now I'm trying to do this valid parentheses algorithm. We've set up these two objects. One, or dictionaries, one relates each open character type to its relative closed character. This other object keeps count of, or keeps memory of, which open brackets have been opened, if we've seen them before, or if we haven't. And now we need to check whether they're valid. So if the character is an open bracket character and it hasn't been opened before, we can set it to true. Else, if, how do you do the is not in? Yeah, I thought so. If it's not, if it's a closed bracket, if it's a closed bracket and it hasn't been opened before, then we can return false because it'll be invalid. You can't close a bracket without opening it. I feel like I could write this better. I'm gonna combine both these into one of these. Wait a second. Wait a second. Okay, no, we'll put it like this. Okay. Right? Wait. If it's a open bracket. You can have multiple open brackets, right? Oh shit. Yeah, because wait, can you? Open brackets must be closed in the correct order. But can you have this? Like, I think this is valid. Like, if we open it twice and then close it twice, right? I think that's valid. The same type. Okay, so that logic is a bit flawed. Damn, I feel like I've gone down the rabbit hole too far in this. Is bracket open? Tally. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna change this to bracket open tally, because we can have it open multiple times. We're gonna initialize all of these to 0. If it's an open bracket, we will increase the bracket open tally for that character by 1. Otherwise, if it's a closed bracket, else if, how do you write else if? Else if it's a closed bracket, and if it's a closed bracket, just write the else, I guess. If it's a closed bracket, if it's a closed bracket when it hasn't been opened, we can return false. But if it has been opened, we'll just -1 from the open tally, because there's no longer a unclosed bracket. Whoa, what did I press? Oh boy, hope it doesn't get rid of my progress. Nice, I don't think it did. Excellent. Okay, that's good. I'm liking this more. So we're going through each character in the parentheses in the input string. If it's an open bracket, we increase the open bracket tally by 1. Otherwise we'll decrease it by 1, except if it's 0. Because if we haven't opened a bracket and we try to close it, oh shit. Actually, here we're getting the wrong key. So I need to swap these around. So for each closed bracket, we get the corresponding open bracket. Okay, so for here, we actually need to go the related bracket of the car. Same here. Go this manually. Okay. So, yep. Related bracket 1. Let's run through this example here. So, very simple example. Open square bracket. Is it a bracket open? Yes, it is. Increase the open square bracket thing by 1. So that'll equal 1. And then the closed square bracket. Is it an open bracket? No. Is the value of the related open bracket 0? No, it will be 1. So -1 to that. And then I'll do the same for that. And then we can return true. All right, let's try one of the harder examples. Open square bracket 1. We just did that. Open squiggly bracket 1. Yep. Open normal bracket 1. Yep. And then it'll go to 0. But then it'll +1 again. 0. And then it'll bring the others to 0. Oh, actually, before we return true, we need to check if for all of the bracket open tallies, they all need to be 0. Because if they're not 0, that means we have some unclosed brackets. So for const key of object dot keys of the bracket open tally, if bracket open tally key does not equal 0, we will return false, otherwise return true. And I think that's it. Let's give it a run. Are in of, what else is it complaining about? It's not defined. Is bracket open? Car of what? Oh, because I renamed this. Try that. Now it doesn't like, oh. Oh, in, it was in. So we're checking if the key exists in the object. That's what that is. I thought we were doing a for loop. Misread it. Sweet. Okay, the very basic test case worked. Let's submit it, see if the overall submission works. No, I still got it wrong on this one because I returned true. Oh, it's because it's opening. No. It's closing in the wrong order. So we can only close in the order, in the opposite order that we open. Oh, dude. I'm gonna have to rewrite this whole algorithm again. Okay, so now I have a new idea that we have kind of like a push stack, a stack. So a stack is a data structure. Here I can finally use Paint, where say you have a list. That's normally how you make stacks, full of objects. We'll change color here. And the difference between a stack is just a list, but the way that it's kind of like a queue. The way that you interact with it is special. So you only put stuff in at one end and then you take it out the same end. I think that's kind of what we have to use here, because for every bracket we open, we'll only take it out. Every bracket we open, we'll put into this list. So let's say we got normal bracket open here, and then we got a square bracket open here. Remove this. If the next element in line is a closed normal bracket, that's invalid. That's an invalid string. So we want to check the next character with the top of the stack and see if it's valid or not. All right, attempt 3. Third time is a charm. So they say. I should have really done this the first time, but you know, it's all good. You live and you learn. Well, this just also proves that I haven't cheated and looked at the answers before. Yeah, although I feel like this is a common programming question that I might have done before, but it seems like I've just been able to do it well. Okay. Const bracket history. Bracket history equals empty list, empty stack, and now just how do I get rid of this? And now we'll just copy this for loop here. For each character in the string, if it's, we need to check if it's an open bracket or a closed bracket. Should we do that? Should we make an array of open brackets, an array of closed brackets? Yeah, I think an array of open brackets would be cool. So what are our options here? We have normal open, we have square open, and we have squiggly open. Okay. Now, if it's a, if it exists, if it's an open bracket, that's pretty much what I'm going to try to say here. If car is an open bracket, we do that by doing the open brackets array dot index of car does not equal -1, because if it equals -1, that means that character does not exist in the array. If it's not an open bracket, this is when, so if it's not an open bracket, the only way that this can be valid if it's a closed bracket is if we've already opened it. If the last most open bracket is this type, right? So how do we write that? Let me write that as a comment first. Okay, so if the last most open bracket is of the same type, and the way we do that is we check the last element in bracket history. Bracket history, we'll get the bracket history at index of bracket history dot length -1. That should get the last value. If the last value is of the same type, okay, so we actually might need this related bracket dictionary here. I'm thinking we could reuse, we don't need this because we already have the information here. So the way to check if it's a open bracket, we can do not car in related bracket. And get rid of that. Yep, that should work. It's an open bracket. If the last most open bracket, okay. If the last most open bracket is equal to No, this is checking if it's a closed bracket. Sorry. If it's an open bracket, let me remove this out here. If it's an open bracket, we just go bracket history dot push. Is there ever a case where open bracket is invalid? No, as long as you close it first, so that's fine. Bracket history dot push car. Because there's never a case where you can add an open bracket to the end of an already valid string and that'll make it invalid. You can only make it invalid by either closing the string and not closing a bracket, or closing a bracket too early or in the wrong order. So if we get a closed bracket, and the last most open bracket is of the same type, that's when it's valid. So how do we check that? We go related bracket car. Just zoom out here. So pretty much, close the brackets. Yep. So if the last most open bracket, which is, we get the bracket history's last element, if that's the same as the open bracket variant, the related open bracket for the character that we're currently assessing, then it's valid and that's good. And we can do bracket history.pop, which should remove the last element from that list. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check that by Googling, right, JS array pop. Let me just make sure, because it might, yeah, removes the last element. Excellent. Yep, that's all good. So we go through pushing and popping. If it's not actually, then it's you can return false. That just means it's invalid. Otherwise, we'll return true at the end. Run that. Okay, accepted the base case. Submit. Come on. Oh, wrong answer again. So apparently for this case, just an open bracket will return true. Yep. Okay, before we return true, we want to make sure that everything has been closed. So if the bracket history, that should technically be open bracket history. Let me write that here, just for, there's so many occurrences. If the open bracket history dot length is 0, we'll return true, else return false. Submit. Come on. Yay, it did it. It's quite slow relatively. It's only faster than 20% of JavaScript submissions. And the memory is quite bad as well. It's only less than 28% of JavaScript submission. But it works. So now let's see if we can improve it in any way. Just get rid of all my previous failed attempts. Okay. Have some comments here. Ooh. Make sure no unclosed open brackets remain. All right, what can we do to increase the performance here? So right now we just have one for loop, so it should be O of n. Push, pop. Hmm. Is it, look at these. We got 2 dot lengths, 1 push, 1 pop, 1 check, couple of. I wonder if the complexity of the different for loops would make a difference. I know one thing is like you can just resubmit this and it'll give you a different speed. Sometimes I've had it be like twice as fast. See? Yeah, this is bullshit. I'm now 62% faster than JavaScript submission. So I'm probably not going to bother optimizing this much further. Because I think like from a like complexity and algorithm standpoint, O of n is probably optimal for this. I don't see it being much better. We can have a look at solutions maybe, or do you have to pay for that? Oh, you gotta pay for that. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, let's go back to problems. It's another easy problem down. That took actually way longer than it should have. 51 minutes about. But you know, sometimes you just go down the wrong path for too long, which is kind of what happened there. First I misread the problem. So, you know, that's a big red flag. If this was an interview, and I misread the problem, the interviewer is not going to be happy. They're going to be like, well, you don't listen to instructions, so why should we hire you? That's a very important skill to have, listening to instructions. If it was an interview, I'd be doing it differently. It's like a very good idea to ask clarifying questions in an interview. A lot of the time, interviewers will like specifically ask really vague programming questions so that it requires you to ask clarifying questions to get like the necessary kind of information to be able to answer the question. So yeah, I should have probably looked at the question a bit better. I was thinking about doing another one. Should I do another one? Getting pretty tired. I'm not sure. Does anyone have any content ideas? Should I do another one? Let me check my TikTok to see if I have any comments I can reply to. Oh, got a new comment. Is this part of a React track HackerRank offers? Second question. Yeah, so in this one I did a React certification on HackerRank. It was pretty simple. It was pretty cool. It let you like clone a repository and use your own IDE to actually develop a React application, kind of like programming problem. It was pretty cool. This video did actually pretty well. I think it's got like 40,000 views. Does it say? Doesn't say here, but should be able to see it on my page. Where are we? This one, yeah, 41,000. It's one of my better performing videos. Not sure how this video will edit. It's kind of hard because it's like 1 hour's worth of footage, this stream, and I'm trying to compress it into ideally around a minute. Sometimes it takes a bit more, sometimes less. But hopefully this one turns out alright. I'll probably just leave it there and get to editing it. But I'm planning to do some longer streams in the future. So maybe like a couple hours, ideally. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thanks everyone for watching and tuning. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day, night, morning, and catch you all later. Bye bye.